Don't know.
Don't know.
One cow apart. Create Gilligan's Island for you on this tour. It's a 3.5-hour tour, so Gilligan's Island, recreation. Just pulling your leg, don't get excited. Alright, our 30-minute tour. We'll cover the ranch, this history from 1850 to today. We acquired 4,000 acres for less than $10,000. And all of it is still owned by the same family back in those days. I'll give you all that history. This is a 4,000 acre caravan. It is the largest on this island of Oahu. It is the largest and the oldest. It is comprised of 3 sections of land that are adjacent to each other. Now these 3 sections are called Ahu Pua'as. And Ahu Pua'a is a generic name of land that would stretch from the mountain to the ocean. So on this side, this mountain range went all the way down, is called Kualoa Poko. Kualoa means windward, Poko means short. All the mountains going this way is called Kualoa, that's windward long. So the ranch is part of the 2 districts, Kualoa and Kualoa Poko. And in each of the districts, they chopped it up into small sections of land. So they're called Ahu Pua'as. On this side, Kualoa Poko has 11 sections of land that make up Kualoa Poko, the district or the moku. And on this side, we have 18 districts or mokus. Hey, now that you're completely confused, don't worry about it. On this side is 1,100 acres that we acquired at a public auction. Right? It's adjacent to this 622 acres, 1850. Over the mountain, that's 2,200 acres, adjacent to this property, and that it was in 1860. So in 1850, during the Great Mahele, that's when the Hawaiian chief, Kamehameha III, was giving or selling land to the Hawaiians, and then in 1850 would sell land to everybody else. So this 622 acres in 1850 during the Great Mahele was sold to a guy by the name of Dr. Jerry P. Judd. Now Judd was a medical missionary coming out of Boston. Dr. Judd was sent here by the Calvinists and missionaries to provide medical support to the Calvinists. They were the very first missionaries that were allowed to set up a religious site by order of Queen Kahumanu, wife of King Kamehameha I. When the king died, the wife Kahumanu came second in command, and she was so powerful that no one would question her. When the missionaries arrived, she was so infatuated with the missionaries, especially the ladies, because when the first lady stepped off the boat in 1820, the Hawaiians never saw a Caucasian lady with fair skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, with dress from the top of the neck all the way down to their feet. They were completely covered, and they wanted to know every single thing about those ladies, what they wore, etc. Because the Hawaiian. So Dr. Judd was sent here to provide medical support to these missionaries. Dr. Judd, as soon as he stepped off the boat, he fell in love with Hawaii. He couldn't help himself. He would learn to read, write, and speak in fluent Hawaiian. He became the king's economic consultant. He'll become the king's minister of finance, minister of interior, minister of foreign affairs, minister of education. This guy had so many ministerships that everybody called him the minister of everything. So here you have this doctor from Boston with his wife Laura Fish coming to Hawaii, learning the Hawaiian culture, plumbing himself into the Hawaiian culture, and he would help the Hawaiian people as much as he could, and he would help the king as much as he could. And because of everything that he did, the king was so grateful that in 1850, during the Great Mahele, they would sell Dr. Judd this property from the mountain to the ocean, front and back, 622 acres, price tag $1,300. How would you like to buy? Is that a dumb question? How would you like to buy? How would you like to own these 622 acres for $1,300, including all the fishing rights? Not anymore, but back then. All the houses you see all the way down the line for 2.5 miles, except for 5, are owned by the ranch today. And at the end of the ranch, on the mountainside, Mauka, there's about 20 houses. 5 of them are not owned by the ranch, and the other 15 are. All right. So the king would sell Dr. Judd this property because of everything he did. Dr. Judd would give it to his son Charles. Charles and his brother-in-law Samuel Walder would go into the sugar business. This is what they built. They built this stone mill. It was a mill to process sugar cane with a steam engine from Ireland. So this mill would be in operation from 1863 to 1871. And then, so they stuck with it, hoping that things would change. But for some reason or another, it didn't. Really bad luck hit them. Law on the Hawaiian Islands. That means military now have complete control. The habeas corpus, your rights, are thrown out the back door. Military had first and last say on all your rights. So the ranch will be informed 3.5 weeks later, after December 7th, that the 622 acres will now be part of the ranch Army Air Force base. So the planes will land at Kualoa Regional Park in June, because it took them 6 months to convert the property to an Army Air Force base with a runway 1.23 miles long, 200 Liberator. So these are the fighters and the bombers. What they had here back then, they also brought in 7,100 troops between the years 1942 to 1946. Even though the war was over, it remained open for an additional year for military practice of control. All right, so get the idea. Bombers on my right, fighters behind us. Now we have to have communication. So this is communication number 1. This is part of gun number 1. It is 21 feet long, 8 feet wide, 10 feet tall. It's 6 steps, 16 steps going underground. That is the air intake or the escape hatch. So imagine this being underground, 13 men there, very claustrophobic. Very hot, very muggy, but that was communication number 1 for gun number 1. Gun number 1 is up front. Now we have to protect the aircraft, bombers, fighters. We have to protect the troops that would come and go. So this is a 50 caliber water-cooled Browning machine gun, 450 to 600 rounds per minute, hitting targets 1 mile out. Now right next to it, this is for a generator. We call it the M5. Or the Oak Leaf. This generator would provide power to the gun. The gun was a 37 millimeter. It could hit targets 3 miles out, 60 rounds per minute, and this is where you store the ammunition. So all of this plus the command post to my left was considered to be gun 1. How many of you are Lost fans? Watch the TV series Lost. You watch TV series Lost. You know the bunker in Lost? Well, take a look on the left. That is not the bunker. It looks like the bunker. You know where the bunker is located? In Oregon. But you took a photo of it, and it looks like the bunker, and you can tell everybody you saw the bunker. Nobody will know the difference but you and I. The bunkers looked exactly the same. They're all built the same way. All right? So, you know, don't be ashamed. I saw a bunker. Here's my photo. Have you seen the bunker? You know where the bunker is? I know it's in Oregon. Well, okay. Another cement slab. So this is where the barracks were built. Some of you call it the billets. Further back, that was the PX. Some people call it the post exchange. Back further, you would have seen a little commissary. They also built a little movie theater. And to keep the troops happy, you got to have a tavern. So we built a tavern where the troops could have a nice cold glass of milk after every mission. What do you think? Okay. Back gate where you got on the bus, right next to the tavern. So that's the front gate. Troops on this side, guns on this level, and aircraft below. Gun number 2, 50 caliber Browning machine gun. Escape hatch for the combo section right there. Another gun. This is a 40 millimeter. The platform of that gun, it could fire 60 rounds per minute, hitting targets 6 miles out, hitting firing 120 rounds per minute. 120 rounds per minute, hitting targets 6 miles out. Same configuration, 13-man operation. 5 to 10 inches of the year, they're 10 degrees cooler underneath. So if you know of anyone, your parents or your great-grandparents or whoever that was born in 1947, go home, give them a big hug, a big kiss, because this year they're going to make 73 years old. This year these trees are going to make 73 years old. And at 73, I'm pretty sure your family, my family, our friends, that reach this age are going to look just as good, just as healthy, and just as strong looking as these 73-year-old trees. And I'm pretty sure when you're 73, you're going to look just as good, just as healthy, and just as strong looking as these 73-year-old trees. Happy birthday to you. And if you're not going to be 73, happy birthday anyway. Why do we love these trees? It gives us a Jurassic Park look, naturally. Plus that, it's 10 degrees cooler. All right, so military, Army, Air Force, together. 1947, they split. Army goes left, Navy, Air Force goes right. Completely separate. Now this is a coastal artillery position that we're going to go into. We're going to stop the bus. We're going to get off the bus. We're going to take a nice leisurely walk, 21 minutes. We're going to go in the front door. As we make the bend, we'll start off with that TV series Hawaii 5-0, 1968. We'll walk down the corridor. And as we get through the other end, we'll come out with the Battle of Midway. This is 150 feet deep under this mountain. Don't fear. You know, if you get a little nervous because you're going to be 150 feet under the mountain, I will hold your hand. I will sing you a song. You have nothing to worry about. It is very roomy. You know, it's tall. You know, I will show you that. It's a little windy. Hold on to your hat. If you have a wig or toupee under your hat, hold on to that as well.
And that's Kaneohe Bay. Right over there, that's Bellows Airfield. That was run by the Army. because Jurassic Park, this is where we're at. Until it was completed, it was kept the wraps secret. How do I know? Well, it has the word secret right here. See, secret, S-E. That's the storage, that's required equipment. This is a 1942 shot of the landing field, 1.23 miles long. That's the main highway. That's where we started from. This is Kualoa Regional Park that the ranch owned until 1960. They gave it to the federal government, state government. So that's the landing field. This is how it looked. These are the silos for the bombers, silos for the fighters, silos for the bombers, the landing strip, and the sugar mill. This is the road the troops would use to get to their people lined up, mounted. The P-40s and the P-47s were on both sides, and then the P-38s, they were used more for reconnaissance, and the other two were more for fighters. But that's how you know. This is a thank you to the 100 Battalion. Maybe you guys heard about them. 100 Battalion comes from Hawaii. They would team up with the 442nd. They would go to Europe. They would East Coast, West Coast. They would go to Europe. The 100 Battalion, 442nd. When the war was over, Second World War, 21 Medal of Honors. They were called the Purple Heart Battalion. Received more awards, accolades than any other combat history in our history. You can check that up. 100 Battalion, remarkable thing about them is that they were Japanese Americans, born and raised in Hawaii, Japanese Americans, born in West Coast, East Coast, flew together, sent to your most decorated unit in our combat history. The only thing that's not military is this. Does anybody know what this is? My friend put it in here just to jam me up. This is from what movie? The shaving cream can.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Remember the embryos that the guy put in? This is the shaving cream can with the embryo. This is one of the props that they use. How did he get it? I don't know, but I'm going to get even with him because it doesn't belong here, it belongs to another. So all of this is 1941 to 1945. Everything in here is authentic. Okay? Except, no, this is authentic. These are called Marston mats. Second World War, Vietnam War, and the beginning of the Iraq War. They used that. That's our airfield. That's the place we land on. Okay, this is our Hawaiian Airport. Stand and protect, stand and guard. December 7th, Hawaiian Air Force is given a brand new name, 7th Air Force. So 7th Air Force is born December 7th, 1941. Anybody know where that's located? 7th Air Force, where is it located? Anybody know? South Korea. They've been protecting us all these years. Lockheed, California, that's where all of our fighters were made. In the past and present, Lockheed, California is still a very popular place to make fighters. Okay. So as you guys come in, look on the wall. TV productions started up in 1968, Hawaii 5-0, book them down. So chronological listing of all the TV productions that were on the ranch, all the way up to Hawaii 5-0, I mean Magnum PI. The only thing, the ones that lasted the longest are these two, picked up by this one and this one. Hawaii 5-0 last year, this year. From now on, we just rerun. Magnum PI is still hot and heavy. So Hawaii 5-0 and Magnum PI started all, and they ended it all. Right there, Hawaii 5-0 means Hawaii the 15th state. If you haven't seen any of these, get up early in the morning, hook up to Netflix, and you can see all of them if you want. Now, these are the movies that the ranch has been involved in. 1955, the first one, Mr. Roberts, chronological listing. All of it. Last one, Battle of Midway, right here. And then Triple Frontier, Jurassic World. So some part of the movie was filmed here. Some, and that was filmed, not the whole movie, but maybe 25 minutes or 30 minutes of the movie for each one of these have been filmed here. If you haven't seen any of these movies, let me tell you, where have you been? All right, it's on Demand One on Netflix. You can find these on Disney or whatever other channel you guys are watching. Guys, it's fully enough. Remarkable record from 1955 to today. All the TV series, all the movies that the rest of people. Okay, as you walk in, from the time you walk in to the time you leave, that's the mountain. You're 150 feet deep. Don't worry about it. Right there, the first one is a wind talker. $10,000 prop that was given to the ranch for free by the movie company when they left. Okay, so I'll tell you about that. Harm's Way, second movie. This is Paradise Hawaiian Style with Elvis Presley. My friend Jim, thank you very much for your support. Elvis. Folks, I met Elvis Presley 2 years ago in Las Vegas. He is alive and well in Las Vegas. I don't care what you say. Go to Las Vegas, you'll see my friend Elvis Houdini Presley. Why do I call him Houdini? Because he can be in 10 hotels at the same time. Any of you guys seen Elvis Presley? On the helicopter, Russian helicopter. The helicopter crashed in the valley, and we'll show you all that occurred. Biggest loser, 10 years ago, the ranch did. Large people coming in to lose weight. All bunch of different exercises. $25,000 would be given to the one that won, and Conda walked away with all the money. All the rest of them would receive a full-length statue with their name on the bottom, and a surprise visit from McDonald's. They would receive a beautiful gift certificate from McDonald's, a Big Mac, cinnamon seed, large fries, and Coca-Cola. All right. And 11, a thing called rib pack exercise. In the Pacific, they took a lot of shots of that rib pack exercise. Oh, wow. Okay, Dwayne Johnson, 6 movies on the ranch in Kualoa. These are some of the props for these. These are fiberglass. We have a DVD at home. I'm trying to look at it. So you see this is part of it. Here. All of this here is this stuff. All right, these are 2,000 pounds, so please don't lean on them. 2,000 pound prop. These are foam, triple cement painted to the little beer long and heavy. Okay, so you look at the DVD, you see all this. All this is this stuff, but all light fiberglass, foam, triple cement. Okay? Roof is still up, we'll see that. Okay? As you guys come in, how many of you have seen this movie, George of the Jungle? George of the Jungle? This got to be the dumbest comedy of all time. The dumbest comedy of all time, but it's well liked by many people. But to me, people. Action-packed, action-packed, mountain hours, hours, all of it filmed on the ranch. Okay, 51st day, Drew Barrymore, I understand, will be on the road that Drew Barrymore would drive home every day. Mike and Dave and statue Goldie Hawn. We have it here. Okay, another original, not literally, submarine is on fiberglass, floating drums, floating around in our fish pond. There's a photo of it, how it looked. In Hollywood, people would go in and out of the submarine. But you can't go in and out of that submarine because there's nothing there. Okay, so this is the prop. This is a lot of it was filmed right here on the ramp. So if you're a Lost fan, go over there, put your handprint on the submarine, kiss the 13 main actor, and come in. And Mark and Mindy, how are you guys doing today? All right. So if you guys saw the sitcom Mark and Mindy some years ago about 2 aliens, husband and wife living on Earth. Well, this is the metamorphosis of those two. That's Jimmy the Rex. Why do we call him Jimmy the Rex? Well, because when we captured him, I rode him back on the bus to the ranch. So Jimmy the Rex and Mark and Mindy. What do you think? Say hello, say goodbye. All right, so this structure here, that's in the movie Battle of Midway. When Doolittle in the movie cracks the movie, Doolittle look for Chinese critics. was completed. This one. This is the only one that had the guns. This is the only one that did the firing. All the others were stopped because the war was now waning away. They were in Okinawa, Iwo Jima, that area. So, but they had to keep one gun alive just in case. We had to protect Kaneohe Bay at all costs for the Navy at Kaneohe Naval Station. All right. So, look on the left. The mountain is real. Right below, that's fake. All of this is the mule walk in Triple Frontier. Ben Affleck and his men would rip off the drug lords in Colombia. They would stuff the mules with money. The mules in this movie came from the island of Molokai. How did they make this? Well, they made a wood frame. Around the frame, they would have wire. They would form the wire to make it look like mountains, right, or rocks. They would spray it with cement and form it again, and then paint it to make it look like the color of the rocks. A prop. This area, Kalai Oko Iyo Makahono. Try to pronounce that 5-6 times. Kalai Oko Iyo Makahono. Okay, that's why we call it Rainbow Beach. Rainbow Beach. Why do we call it Rainbow Beach? Well, 50, 60, 70 inches of rain every year. 50, 60, 70 inches of rain every year in this valley. It always have double and triple rainbows. So he gave it the name Rainbow Beach. Nickname. Hey, now, Castaway with Tom Hanks, look on my left. I almost missed it. You know the cave in Tom Hanks, when Tom Hanks stayed there all that time? Tom Hanks and the cave in Castaway. Well, I'm sorry to say, this is not the cave. It looks like the cave. It is not the cave. It is not N-O-T the cave. It looks like the cave. But there is a main legend to it. They say that on this side of the island, in Kualoa, there is a lava tube. This lava tube, since we're born for the ocean floor, we're all tops of volcanoes, so the lava will travel in these lava tubes. Now on the big island, there is a lava tube that you can actually drive a bus through, just to give you the size of some of these. While in legend, it says that Kualoa, Apu Okaina, the name of that area, in there they would have a lava tube, and in the lava tube you would find many canoes all lined up. And in each of the canoes you would find 2 sets of ancient remains. In the front of the canoe, each canoe would be one of the ladies. In the back of the canoe would be one of the men. The ladies are telling the men where to go, the men are doing the paddling. Can we prove or disprove that? No. Why? The military covered it up during the Second World War. It was okay for by the Hawaiians. Why? Because now the legend is still alive. Or something that happened many years ago, seeing aliens or whatever. Well, we do the same. This is the breeding place for our cattle. This year, 80 young calves were born. 80 young calves were born. Now this is called Kaneohe Valley. Easy for you to spell. K-A-A-A-W-A. Yes, you have 26 letters in our American alphabet, A to Z. Hawaiians were sharp, they took half of it. So we have 13 letters, 5 vowels, the rest are consonants, and Okina and Akahako. Some of my friends, their middle name cannot fit on their driver's license. I have a few friends that they cannot fit their middle name on a piece of paper because these middle names tell a story of the family or the birth. Okay, so look at my left. These are summer cows. Why do I call them summer cows? Look close. Some are red, some are gray, some are white, some are black, some are multiple colors, some are odd. So these are summer cows. Get it? Okay. I'll give you another one. All right. The ones standing up, we call them lean beef. The ones lying on the ground, we call them ground beef. What about that one? You guys are no fun, I'm telling you. Gee. Oh, I gotta come up with some better jokes than that. That's okay. You know how we stopped it? We took away the charge card. Woo! All right, this is Kaneohe Valley. During the Great Mahele of 1848, when our king started to give land to the Hawaiian people, they gave this 2,200 acres to a chief by the name of Josiah Ka'eo. So Josiah would sell it to Dr. Judd's son, Charles in 1860, who paid $2 an acre, $4,000 for this property. Ka'ava is named for fish demigods that live in the ocean. So the ranch still owns all of it. Prior to the pandemic, we were converting this to look as though you're back in ancient Hawaii. So we were done with this. Then the pandemic hit. So we were on our way to converting on what's on the left to look like this. But we had to stop because we couldn't come to work for 3 months. All right. Then when that was done, we were going to copy the whole front. So this whole area will look as though you're back in ancient Hawaii. Taro, we have 300 varieties. We have 200 varieties of sweet potato. So everything here would be a part of what the Hawaiians would bring here, or the Polynesians in 500 AD. Typical Hawaiian house, call it a hale, H-A-L-E. Covered with a grass we call pili, P-I-L-I. Pili grass is waterproof, very difficult to find today. So what do? They use coconut prongs. All these trees have been taken out already. These are called Java plum. They come from India. We have a big machine called Hot Lips O'Houlihan. I'll show you her. She's down the road. She's one of our heroes. See, he put the machine over this, eats it, and spits it out. We use no herbicides. We don't want that to get into the water. Calm Skull Island. This is one of the props. Coconut trees, buildings are not in the scene. This is a night scene. Samuel Jackson is on the left. He has a lit torch in his hand. The logs look like a pyramid, will be on fire. The stones are really foam sprayed with cement to make it look like stone. The water in front will be laced with fuel from one of Samuel Jackson's downed helicopters. Kong is charging Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson smiles at Kong, throws the torch in, the whole area explodes into a fire, and Kong is knocked out. Why does Samuel Jackson want to hurt Kong? Well, let me back up. Kong is on his island. That's his island. He is the protectorate of that island. He keeps the equilibrium of that island intact. Nothing can pass Kong. And so he is the man, if you want to call it that. Samuel Jackson comes with 13 helicopters and they want to see what's on the island that they discovered. Kong's island. They start dropping seismographic bombs on the island. It disturbs the whole equilibrium of the island. Kong is completely upset. He knocks out of the sky one of the helicopters. The other 12 attack Kong. He knocks them all out of the sky. Samuel Jackson is now, he's completely upset. He has no choppers to go home. All these men are hurt or are killed. So now he wants to do everything humanly possible to pay Kong back. He has a mean vendetta against Kong. And the whole movie is trying to find out. You look at them, they're losing their wool. Naturally, like bison and llama will lose their winter coats, these guys will lose their winter coats as well. Then when winter comes, they'll get their coat back. But the funny part of it, we have no snow in Hawaii on this island. Now, when it's 52 degrees in Hawaii, we are freezing. Everybody pulls out their fur coat or their big jackets. They don't want to go to work, but it's 52 degrees. Raised is small, a little bit smaller than a baby lobster, freshwater shrimp. Over the mountain, we have a place called Moli'i Fish Pond that we raise catfish and tilapia for sale. We raise 300,000 oysters, which we harvest 100,000 every year, and we raise jumbo-sized Pacific white shrimp. We bake it for about 3-4 hours. We put it out. Vitamin C, potassium, carbohydrate, fiber, and it smells like bread. So we give it the nickname breadfruit. Breadfruit. This is the famous breadfruit. Try it, you will love it. Now in 1910, the papaya, the solo papaya, will arrive in Hawaii. A lot of the farmers that raise solo papaya, S-O-L-O, in Hawaii, they have no idea that it was introduced by the ranch from Mexico in 1910. So the ranch has a good record of introducing plants. So this is solo, S-O-L-O, self-pollinating. On this side is rainbow. Those are the two premier papayas you find in stores today. Ask any of the store people, where do they originate from? They will have no idea. From Mexico. Who brought them to Hawaii? They will have no idea. Kualoa Ranch. Look at the sign. Jumanji. That's the barn roof. This is the barn roof in the movie, where the helicopter and the bus is in there. All right, these are 10 of our baby piglets. All right, This is a South Korean idea. If you're raised on a ranch and you raise pigs, you know that they have a definite smell that you will never forget. Right? But this has no smell. Why? Because each pen is 10 feet deep. We have 6 feet of charcoal and 2 feet of sod. No poop and scoop, no water loss. The charcoal will filter it off. So mommy is on that side. That side, that's mommy on there. The baby piglets are 1 year, 1 month, 3 weeks. 1 month, 3 weeks old. So every evening, they take the tent and they put it on mommy. Mommy has, oh, I don't want this again. How would you like to give birth to 10 piglets? Oh, okay. South Korean idea, clean, brand new way of raising pigs, a very clean way. You want passion fruit or lilikoi? This is how we raise it. How about you like chocolate? The ranch has 1,100 trees called cacao. In our ranch or in our visitor center, we sell our chocolate that we come from our plants. We have the dark and the light chocolate. Go check it out. You might maybe you might buy one. But we have 1,100 trees. These are called cacao. These are chocolate trees. These are American chickens. Sorry, American chickens. Let me reverse real quick. Now, why do I call them American chickens? Well, you look at them. The white ones lay white eggs. The red ones lay red eggs, and the other ones lay a lavender blue egg. So we call it our red, white, and blue chickens. I'm not joking. Red, white, and blue chicken. We sell our eggs as well. Okay, bananas. This is called the apple variety. One of the 50 varieties that the Polynesians brought in. It has a, when you eat it, it has a little taste of an apple. One bunch per plant. When the bunch is ripe, the plant is chopped down because they cannot give another bunch. Go to any store, ask them, I would like to buy some apple bananas. They're going to say, sorry, we're out. Because this is the one the locals prefer. It lasts longer, tastes a little better. We have bananas from Ecuador. We have bananas from South America, from Mexico, from Philippines. But the locals would prefer the apple banana because it lasts a little longer. How many of you have tried dragon fruit? Dragons were kicked out because they wouldn't pay their rent for 2 years. Well, anyway, this is dragon fruit. Dragon fruit comes from this cactus. These cactus. Dragon fruit is about the size of a softball. It's red in color. So you see the black cover on it? That's where the dragon fruit is. They'll turn red by the end of the month. This is one variety of cactus that gives birth to the dragon fruit. No other cactus will give birth to this, only this variety. So many different varieties of cactus, but this guy, the flower, and right around the flower will be the fruit. So this is dragon fruit. We raise our own vanilla. Most of these are vermilion, meaning very little water. We're very particular. Over there on that side, cacao trees. And right next to it, the green area, that's olena. That's Hawaiian herbs and pineapple. Does anybody know who introduced pineapple to Europe? I'll give you a little hint. The guy who introduces pineapple to Europe, Italian, handsome guy, of course, working for the Spanish, told everybody the earth is not flat, it's round. He takes 3 ships and goes to Columbus, very good, Christopher Columbus. He's the guy that brings pineapple to Europe. A guy by the name of Francisco del Marin del Pablo, 1803, will bring pineapple to Hawaii. A guy by the name of Kidwell will introduce this variety, smooth leaf cayenne. And a guy by the name of James Joe will make it #1. So pineapple is not Hawaiian. Sorry to break your heart. We give it a Hawaiian name, halakahiki, a plant that comes from far away, from a tree that looks like, I'll show you that. At one time, the ranch used to raise a whole bunch of peanuts. We were the peanut guys. Peanut, that's peanut. Okay, how many of you like to eat mangoes? Ranch raises 2 varieties, Pure and Hayden. How many of you like avocados? The ranch raises 6 varieties. How many of you like limes and lemons for your tequila? We raise it. We raise jackfruit. We raise. We also raise grapefruit. We raise. How many of you like lilikoi? I mean not lilikoi, but coffee. We raise our own coffee. We raise our own bees. Someday we'll have our own coffee, our own honey. How many of you about papayas, bananas, etc.? How many of you like to eat the Chinese fruit called lychee? Excellent. We raise it here. So this is called diversification. You should know that. Now, big businesses like this one, we can't depend on one thing. We have to depend on many different things. So if something fails, the other guys will kick in. So we have a terrific aquaculture program. We have a terrific agriculture program, and we have a terrific farming program. And we raise all kinds of. We sell flowers, we sell fruits, vegetables, you name it. All part of the ranch sustainability. This is a 3 million year old island. You might not know. Here on my right, see the white sign over there? That's where the Chinese village was located. Doolittle would crash his plane in China after bombing Japan. He would find a Chinese village, and he would go for. They would take him to the American lines. So that was filmed here. That hill to my front, that is where The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is running away from 13 motorcycles. That hill right there. And that is Hurley's Tour Golf Course, and this is Jurassic Park. So we're going to stop here. We'll tell you about this park. I mean, the Jurassic Park, you'll find it quite interesting. On why it was filmed here and not on the island of Kauai. So watch your step. The park was being filmed on the island of Kauai. In September 11, 1992, Hurricane Iniki would stop that. Hurricane Iniki, Category 4, 140-mile-an-hour wind, would hit Kauai September 11, 1992. Spielberg, the producer of the movie, found out that the hurricane was coming. He was on his final days of producing this movie. He would take his 130 workers, shove them in a hotel for safety. The next day, September 12th, everybody emerged from wherever they were hiding. This hurricane, 140-mile-an-hour wind for 24 hours, at a loss of $1.6 billion and a loss of 6 lives. So it's a devastating hurricane for the island of Kauai. That's where I'm from. So the movie company is now, for 10 years, the island is in its, getting back to normal, 10 years. So the movie company wanted to finish this thing. So somehow or other they come to the ranch in 1993. They do the final part of the movie, and then in 1993, the movie Jurassic Park will come out. So this one here, think of the Hammond kids and Sam Neill coming over that hill in Jurassic Park, being chased by Gallimimus dinosaurs. Remember that? Okay, the Hammond kids and Sam Neill will hide here.
Oh, right.
They will hide here. The Gallimimus dinosaurs would jump over. The kids would scoot on that side. The big Rex would come out here and start jumping away. Now, I know you're wondering, that doesn't look like the log. Well, let me clue you in. If you're out here since 1993, being assaulted by termites and by nature, this is what you're going to look like. So that was, this is because of it being out. A lot of people say that log was over there. But if you look at it, the hill is it's in its way. If you watch the DVD at home, when you go home, you will see the Hammond kids. Mountain, this is it. It's like this. And over there, there's no way you can hit that scene. So this is the log in the movie. 1993, movie comes out. 1993, everybody knows that what the ranch is, the beauty of the ranch. So from 1993 on, for 10 years, Kauai, you can't do any business there because it's kind of like getting back into normalcy. So now the ranch movie companies will come in one after another from 1993 on. the hill on the left, does that not look like a side view of a gorilla? Flat head, long eyebrow, a high brow, and a jaw. Okay, and the other side looks like a baboon. Baboon telling the gorilla, you're ugly. The gorilla said, look in the mirror, my friend, you're just as ugly as I am. So I call it the kiss of gorillas in the movie George of the Jungle. If you can't see it, take a photo of those two hills. 5 King to the ranch so that they can purchase that mountain in the public auction. So September 11th, ranch property. 5,215 feet. If you take our jungle tour, you see the saddle that links the two? We have a little hike that goes there. Okay, now you know a little secret about this log. If Hurricane Iniki did not hit the island of Kauai, we would not stop here because it would have been done on the island of Kauai. Alright, so look, ladies, on the left. Men as well. Look at this, the flower. The flower is yellow. During the day, it's a brilliant yellow. As night comes about, they start to change to a little yellow pinkish. Yellow pinkish. Then, in a couple of days, they'll turn completely red. In the eyes of the Hawaiians, this was something remarkable. From yellow to pink, you know, it's kind of like, it's all you can see, it's kind of like turning pink already, then to yellow. So they felt that there was something there about the flower. So women would pick the flowers and they would mix it with many different types of herbs and they would give it to ladies who were ready to give birth. And what did it do? Supposedly it eased the pain of giving birth. However, we have lost that. We have no idea what the mix was. So Salamagun, something like that, we have lost in our history. But we haven't lost how we got the word how bush. Look on the left, you see how thick the bush is. Hawaiian said, how are we going to get in? And when we get in, how the hell are we going to get out? So the how bush, no, I'm just making it up. But the bush was very important because the bark was dried to make a type of a rope, very strong. The wood was dried and very buoyant. So they would make fish floats, practice spears, and all important balancing beam for the canoe called the ama. And it was one of the best fire starters. Here you could rub 2 sticks together and good fire starter. Now if you're a Lost fan, this is Hurley's dual golf course. It's very expensive. During the 2004 to 2011, they would have 8 episodes in 1 year. Each episode would be $3 million. So 3 million times 8 for 1 year times 8 years. That's what it costs to film this thing, Lost. It's about a plane crash lands on the Pacific Island. 13 people survived the crash. They will constantly be harassed by wild boar, invisible monsters, and polar bears. Polar bears on a deserted Pacific Island. Give me a break. Well, anyway, the funny guy of the group said, Hurley, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die happy. He has a bag of clubs, golf clubs. This becomes Hurley's 2-hole golf course right here. Okay, on this side, they actually built a look-alike Panamanian village where Godzilla would come through destroying the village. Godzilla, the village would stand for about 6 months. Then it started to fall apart, so we call it the Band-Aid village. In no time at all, because the movie companies made it as cheap as they could, so the thing was falling apart. Ranch took it out. Each of the footsteps, 1, 2, 3, 4, were actually 10 feet deep. 10 feet deep. But one night, one of the cows came in, fell into the hole, and never got out. So the ranch lifted to what you see today. Now, if you look at the footstep, it has 3 toes. 3 toes. 3 toes. 3 toes. 3 toes. Now, when I was a young boy, I liked to watch the Godzilla movies made in Japan. These were rubberized Godzillas, breathing smoke, you know, dancing around, fighting Mothra. Those Godzillas had a definite form, and they were 4 to 5 toes. When our Godzilla came about, we had an upgrade. Our Godzilla looks better looking than those Godzillas, plus that we have 3 toes. So we have a better looking, upgraded Godzilla with 3 toes. What do you think? Godzilla. Now in Hawaii, we don't say Godzilla. We say it the way the Asian man said it. He would say, no, he would say, Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla. That's why I drive a bus. Okay, this is the ATV Jump. Mike and Dave, two brothers looking for 2 hot days to take to their sister's wedding. They find 2 girls. These 2 girls are rambunctious. They like to play with the boys a lot. So does the boy likes to play with them. They have a lot of fun. But the girls, they like to embarrass the boys a lot. And the ATV Jump was the final embarrassment, where they would beat the boys, and well, the boys would have to hang their head down knowing that the girls were better than they were. On this road, 5 movies were made at different times of the year. This was a landing field for Yumi and Dupree, Kate Hudson, Matt Dillon, Owen Wilson. The young man comes to Hawaii to participate in a wedding. Only problem is he gets on the wrong plane. The wrong plane will take him to the wrong airfield. He gets off, the plane leaves him there. Now he's stranded. He's looking around. There's a phone booth, and he's calling out saying, hey, where am I? I gotta be to a wedding. So the whole movie is trying to find out where he is. From 1 to 10, I give this a 6.5, maybe 3/4. I give a 10 for this one. 51st Date, Drew Barrymore, Adam Stanley. Drew Barrymore, Sally, Adam Stanley, Henry. And that's the penguin. Anybody know the penguin's name? Willie. Willie, excellent, Willie. That's his name, Willie. Okay, so Adam Stanley works for the aquarium, and Willie is his good pal. All right, so Adam Stanley will go to the Hukilau Cafe. He'll see Drew Barrymore. He tries a couple of advancements to her. That doesn't work. So over time, he keeps on trying it, and the waitress and the waiter will tell him, hey, you better watch out what you're doing. He meets the father, and he meets the brother, and he comes up with some brilliant ideas of how Drew Barrymore and him can become good friends. So he takes his pet penguin, Willie, puts Willie right here, hoping that on her way home, driving her yellow Jeep, she will see Willie and stop and talk to Adam Stanley. But this time she opens her compartment in the Jeep. Her purse falls down to the floor. She goes to pick it up. The CD falls. So she's not looking where she's going. She's more concerned about what's on the ground. When she picks it up, she looks, hey, Willie's right there. Boom, she goes right over Willie. Don't worry. Willie was not hurt. So that doesn't work. So they'll get, what happens here is Adam Stanley will get his friend Ula, and they'll be rolling in the dirt right here, making her believe that it is a mugging. She'd stop her Jeep, she'll grab a bat, chases the Hawaiian guy down the road, and beats the heck out of him. I can still hear him say, help me, help me, help me. Go to the trees, flat surface. That is the barn, where the barn was located, on that flat surface. They had a fence around the barn. 2 guys are guarding the barn. Dwayne Johnson on top of the hill with the crew. He wants to get in the barn to see what's there, but the guards won't let anybody in, so he sends the girl there. Now the girl tries to be a girly girl, but she doesn't know how to flip her hair or even to walk. They try to train her, but that doesn't work. So all of the advancements she's making to the 2 guys, it doesn't work. So they play some music, gets into her fighting mode. She knocks the 2 guys out. They take the helicopter and fly out. Okay. Windtalker, this whole area closed for 6 months. Recreate the Battle of Saipan. No tours, 6 months. Moving company had to pay for every. Japanese stronghold, 725 extras were brought here. Japanese stronghold, Marines attacking. 230 holes would be done. Concertina wire throughout the whole area. They were bringing fake coconut trees, burnt out buildings, burnt out trucks, sound effects, smoke, tanks, 2 tanks, and the whole works. All to try to recreate the Battle of Saipan, Nicholas Cage, Adam Beach. This is where the helicopter would crash in Triple Frontier, where Ben Affleck and his men would take the money from the helicopter, put it on the mules, and make their escape. This is my friend, Mighty Joe Young. The house, the barn was right here on the right. Now, Mighty Joe Young, he's been naughty. Mighty Joe Young has his hand out like he always does, looking for a tip on how to lose weight. Now, we have given him a tip every day for 8 years, and this little rascal hasn't lost 1 single pound. Every night we get all these phone calls from all over. Where's a monkey in our banana patch? And Mighty Joe Young, he doesn't care. You know, he's having a good old time. So, because we have scolded him every single day, he refuses to look at us directly in the eye, because we're going to give him that old Hawaiian stick eye. The stick eye means they're going to give you that bad look. Okay. So, Mighty Joe Young right there. All right, this area closed 6 months. Battle of Saipan is being filmed here. Smoke. 4 army medics were hired to follow all the extras, because you're going to have 230 explosions. You're going to have guys falling on barbed wire. the whole works. So there was a lot of scratches and bumps and bruises, and the medics after all of this were saying it was just like going to combat, because you'd hear the guys yelling medic, medic, and only for a little scratch, and the guy would say, ah, get up, get going. All right. So anyway, excellent movie. Nicolas Cage's job is to protect Atv Beach. The reason why they use the Navajo, because their language is so old and so obscure. You couldn't learn the language. You had to be born into the language. So if you tried to learn it, there's no books. Remember, this is in the 40s, 30s, and 40s. We were the American Indians. They were all on the reservation. So this Navajo language was a dying language, so old and so obscure. So military finally realized that it would be good, because the Chickasaw Indians did it during the First World War, and the Navajos were doing the Second World War, acing the whole during that time. They will be spread out through the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. Excellent, excellent movie. Ancient time, that was forbidden only for men. Only men could use it. Today, anybody can use it. But back then, only for men. With a man, if you saw a man with that heart shape lay around his neck, he was classified as being an enlightened one. So this is called the enlightenment tree, but we call it the kukui nut state tree. The nuts were very powerful. You take the meat of the nut and you would eat it. Just make sure you're close to a toilet, because this thing is a mean laxative. In goes the meat, and if you're not close to a toilet, woo, what a mess, what a mess. 4 different types of color dye. Every part of the tree was used. The leaves were eaten, the flowers were eaten, all as part of, that's why it became known as our state tree. This here, typical house, how would you like to live in this? Covered with grass, we call peely grass, which is waterproof. House is called a holly. The grass you cannot find today because the other grasses are taking it over. So if you go into a house, imagine going home or to your apartment or to your house or wherever you come from, and see your house completely stripped. Toilets gone, sinks, forks, knives, spoons, plates, cabinets, the whole work's gone. The only thing you walk in is an empty house with mats on the ground. That's what the Hawaiian house looked like. Men would do all the cooking. Women, men and women were not allowed to eat together. They had to eat separate. We ate with our hands, and this is, so we have 6 of these, and all of them, if the pandemic we did not hit, we would have been done with 2, painting up 2 of them to look like dinosaurs. So all of them, we're going to give them their name, like Hitachi, and we're going to ask Saurus on it. So Hitachi Saurus, you know, dinosaurs. Forget it. Okay. This is called Skull Island. The trail for the camera. Samuel Jackson on top of the hill looks much different than in the movie. Why? Well, because in the movie they had all kind of bones sticking out of the ground, done by camera. Thick smoke on the ground. Samuel Jackson is told not to go through here because there's the skull crawlers that live here. These skull crawlers are very hungry. They have a long tongue. They wrap the tongue around you. You become breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time. But Samuel Jackson, he's hard-headed. He feels that one of his men are still alive from one of the helicopters that Kong knocked out of the sky. So he wants to go through. Half of the crew will go somewhere else, take another safer route. But Samuel Jackson and some of them will go through here. Majority of the extras will not make it. The skull crawlers will have a good old day. The monkey skull, a couple of teeth are missing. Why? Cows use it as a back scratcher. Made out of foam and fiberglass, everything. Except for the 3 big ones, they've covered with cement to make it look real old in it. So this is what Hitachi does. Eats up this thing. Vegetarian. Once in a while, he'll eat a buffets. By mistake. This is another one. So this is what we do to get rid of the plants that are not accepted anymore around the ranch. We want to build this place to make it look as though you're in ancient Hawaii. Okay, as I pass this, you'll see a steer. He's called Big Dakota. Now, Big Dakota comes from Dakota. He's a 1793, George Vancouver would bring cows to Hawaii. Cows came from Baja California. These are the Longhorns. Longhorn spread is 6 feet from tip to tip. This guy is only 2 feet from tip to tip. Tip to tip. He likes, because we normally give him bananas and papayas and carrots, but I don't see any. Tomorrow, my friend, I'll be back. Okay. I forgot my cow dictionary. I normally talk to him in cow. Moo, 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 moo. He says, okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay, 1793, cows to the right. First of all, I want you to take a deep breath. Smell that aroma. That's ranch life. This is ranch life. I was raised on a ranch and I know ranch life. Can't forget it. So, our summer cows, all of those cows up on the hill, they're male and female. They have no horns. They have been bred over the hundreds and hundreds of years to have no horns. We call them poles. A lot of farms do not want cows with horns because they're very dangerous. But some animals, they have horns that can be helped. But these, the Angus, red, black, and the Chilean, the white, were bred for no horns. This is truly beef animals. Beef. Now, in these mountains, they say there are about 400 caves. And in some of these caves, they believe are the burial sites for powerful ali'is of this district. Now, in ancient times, we didn't have formal graveyards. We had no tools to dig a graveyard. The only tool we had was stone, wood, and bone. Captain Cook, 1778, would introduce the iron tools. But for 1,500 years, we would have a stick called an o'o, 6 feet with a sharp end, and that's what we used to dig and plant. So, so they would get the bones of our ancient ones, put them in a cement bag made out of coconut husk, and they would scale these mountains at night. Why at night? Well, they didn't want anybody to know where the bones would be hidden, especially if you're from a very powerful family. Because with the bones, you would always give things from the afterlife, just like how a lot of countries still do it today. Afterlife. So when they go to the afterlife, at least they'll have their boy pounders and their weapons, the whole works, to continue their life. So Hawaiian afterlife thing is just the same as many other people. I'm pretty sure when you go to a funeral, people will put his favorite cane or his favorite book or something into the coffin. Well, we're no different than anybody else. But we put stones, point pounders, urumaikas, ads, etc. Those things are sought after by many because of their value. Now this is stone thing. So this is forbidden. No one can come here. Anthropologists or archaeologists are not allowed as well because we don't want anybody to dig up the bones. We call these bones iwi. Now, so at night they would traverse this rock and they would find a cave and hide their family bones in. Now the Kami people, the Maka'ainana, they had no way up to the mountains, so most of their bones would be buried in the valley or near the beach, where it was easy to dig with your hand. Okay, and that was just the custom. But with this unusual, crazy weather we've been having for years, what was one time a safe burial spot for your family in ancient time now becomes the beach. So a lot of bones are being found every so often when the tide is really high in Dillingham Airfield, that area. So we have to do it the correct way. We have to call the kahunas or the priests, ancient Hawaiian style, and reinter the bones. If it's not ancient, then we call the police department and say, hey, we found something here for you guys to take a look at. So a lot of our customs universal throughout the world. We bury our dead in sacred hiding places so that no one could touch the bones. The cows are here in 1793. We call the cow pipi today. Not to be confused when they make pipi now. P-I-P-I. We call the cowboys that came here in 1830 from California. We call them the vaquero, or we call them the Paniolo. said on it. When you're going that way to behind us, you leave this area. Okay, so that's what the stone was saying. Whenever you see these stones with pig's head, that tells you you're leaving one ahupua going into another ahupua. Someone will be here to tell you where you're going. You will leave a little gift called the hulu. And you leave the gift there, and there will be a thank you to the God for letting you move from one point to another. We have 2 of them on the ranch. These are recreations on the ranch. Before, going every ahupua, 11 on that side, 18 on this side, section of land, you would have these all over the place to tell everybody, you know, what the names are. Okay, look on the left. You see those 2 small islands? Mokumanu, Island of the Birds. Okay. Now on a clear day, without the haze and without the clouds, on the left side of those 2 islands, you can actually see the island of Maui. Okay, you can't see it now because of the haze. The 2 small islands. Moku is the small one. The other one looks like kind of like looks a little bit like Diamond Head. But on this side, that would be Maui, way in the distance. Okay. Now, if you look forward, that other one looks like a turtle. That's called Mokapu or Kebe. All the way down the line, you would see the island of Molokai. So does that look like a turtle? Yeah. All right. So we tell the kids that that turtle is waiting for Godzilla to come back. When Godzilla comes back, that turtle will come to life and attack Godzilla. Because Godzilla and the turtle were enemies. But that's just a story. But that is called Mo Kapu. Mo is a district. Kapu is sacred. So that is a burial site. That peninsula was run by the Navy from the 1920s to the late 1940s. That area was hit 5 minutes before Pearl Harbor, along with Bellows Airfield. Bellows is over that. That is the Army Air Base, which is now a park. If you're a veteran or if you are active duty, that's a really neat place to go and rent a cabin if they're opening up. We go there a lot. I'm a veteran myself, so we go there a lot because it's really neat, really comfortable. You can have a lot of fun there. But those 2 areas will be hit first. And the Pearl Harbor will be hit second. Now, it is said that the Japanese hit that area first because they were flying out of the Catalinas, the flying boats, the PBYs. Now, these flying boats could land in the water and perhaps maybe rescue down the airmen, or they were long range and they could hunt for enemy ships. So if you destroy those first, that means that they had no way to look at or try to find, Catalinas would be destroyed. That's why they attacked Bellows, which was P-40s back in those days. And all the airfields in Honolulu were hit as well. So there was a guy by the name of Lieutenant John Finn. He would pick up the 50 caliber machine gun on December 7th and do action in an open field with the Japanese. He would shoot down one plane, and a 298, 299 National Guard would shoot down another. These are my relatives. They don't look very good. I keep on telling them they have to put some clothes on. Typical Hawaiian pigs. This is what we brought to Hawaii in 500 AD. Small enough to fit on the canoe. What we found here was seals, turtles, and birds. We didn't find any animals, 4-legged. So we introduced the pig and the dog. 500 AD. Small enough to go on the canoe. Okay, so let me get back. So Lieutenant John Finn would be wounded 3 times. He'll be patched up. September of 1942, Lieutenant John Finn and 14 other brave men will receive the Medal of Honor. John Finn will receive medal number 1 because they were hit first. And the other 14 will go to Pearl Harbor. John Finn will live to 100 years old. There is a USS John Finn, a missile destroyer named for him. Not bad. All right, so when the Polynesians arrived in 500 AD, they would fall in love with the islands because of its abundance of fresh water. We are the last islands to be discovered by the Polynesians. We're the last islands to be discovered. Oh, couple pigs right there. Yep. Oh, 1, 2, 3 of them. It's just like they own the property, they didn't walk around. The Hawaiians find the islands. We're the last to be discovered by Hawaiians or Europeans as well. When you come here, we find two animals here, the green sea turtle and the monk seal. Now, a lot of people call it the green sea turtle. You ask them why, they say, oh, because the shell is green. That's not true. The shell is also red, it's yellow, it's black, it's multiple colors. We have 1,100 of them that live here. These are the oldest species of seal in the world. You can find them nowhere else, only in the Pacific, in Hawaii. In the Hawaiian archipelago will you find these. Well, you take a seal, throw it in the water, first thing that pops up is its head, looks around. Take a seal, throw it in the water, first thing that pops up is its head, looks around. So according to the Hawaiians, they both look alike, the seal and the dog. Right? They like to travel, we call it holo holo. They like to play, we call it ua ua. So the seal was given the Hawaiian name Ilio Holo Ika Ua Ua. The dog that swims in rough water. And Americans and the Europeans couldn't pronounce Ilio Holo Ika Ua Ua. So they said, son of my God, we're going to name it a monk. So they call it a monk seal because it's the color of a monk's robe. How were these islands discovered? Or who made them famous? Captain James Cook. Captain James Cook would give these islands our latitude and our longitude. Now everybody knows where we're at. Captain Cook, however, would be killed by the Hawaiians, unfortunately, in a brief skirmish. But his map and his latitude and longitude will go back to Europe. Now everybody's wanting to go to China. They don't want to go across the continent of Europe. Too long, too expensive. They don't want to go into the Indian Ocean because of piracy. But they find out that if you're at the west coast of Europe, east coast of the United States, come down the Atlantic, go around South America, Hawaii, and just hop, skip, and a jump to China. So we become very important to everybody. These are our horses. Now horses look like dogs in the eyes of the Hawaiians when the horse first arrived in 1803 by the Americans. So because they look like a dog in the eyes of the Hawaiians, it looks like a big dog, Hawaiians would give it the name Lio, L-I-O. Dogs are called Ilio, I-L-I-O. So we call them Lio, looks like a dog. Island, 1852, Chinese would arrive. They are the first group to arrive. These Chinese, regular 200 brave bachelor Chinese men would arrive to work in the sugar fields. Paid a 5-year contract, $3 a month. How would you like to work for that? And when they got off the boat, all 200 of them would have a hat looking very similar to the shape of that island. So we gave it, in honor of the Chinese, we gave it the nickname Chinaman's hat. At one time we owned it. We gave it to the federal government in 1960. It's now a wildlife sanctuary.
What kind of wildlife?
Birds, whatever. You can hike there. But the only problem is, I'm telling you, for your own safety, a lot of people go there. They walk because it's low tide, but by the time they get through with the walk, come back down, the tide is up to here, and they move fast. So you bring a kayak. Don't depend on those floaters because they don't work. Bring a kayak. A lot of people go there and they anchor their kayak. It's safer to go with a kayak and come back. You walk, you might, we have many rescues there all the time because people walk and then they're too afraid. If you look good, there's somebody on the top of the hill. See, you can look, see, my eyes are still good. Somebody on top of the hill. A couple of kayaks are there. So in 1960, we gave it to the federal government. It's a wildlife sanctuary. So 1,100 acres on the left, $5,215 on the right. On the left, 2,200 acres, $4,000 for that. And here, 622 acres, 1,300. All of it is owned by the ranch except for Chinese hat. Everything, Makai, Oceanside, from the park all the way down for 2.5 miles, except for 5 houses, are owned by the ranch. No one lives on the ranch. John and David Morgan the 6th generation of Dr. Judd. They are the great grandson of the doctor. And on behalf of them, they know all 300 of us by our first name. Remarkable. By the way, tips are accepted, by the way. We have 114 horses. Most of our horses come from Alberta, Canada today. We have 300 workers and 400 to about 600 head of cattle. So folks, on behalf of the ranch, we'd like to say mahalo. Thank you very much for coming, for opening up the ranch. We really appreciate your business. We really do. We'd like to say mahalo. Thank you. Ha'ole makahiki ho. Have a great rest of the year. And ahui ho. Ahui ho means until we meet again. And thank you for laughing at my lame jokes.
Conmigo.